The date is Wednesday, May 31st. I'm Louis Morals, and this is a Market Bull Update. Goldman Sachs is being accused of propping up a dictatorship in Venezuela following their purchase of $2.8 billion in bonds from the state-run oil company for the steeply discounted price of $865 million. We're not sure why people are mad at Goldman, given that paying 31 cents on the dollar seems like a good way to teach that dictatorship a lesson. A statement from Goldman claimed that they made the purchase because, quote, like many in the asset management industry, we believe the situation should improve over time, which should provide comfort to the starving protesters currently getting tear-gassed in the streets. To find out which humanitarian crises to invest in and which to avoid, tune into our new special, Propping Up Dictators. Does discount? Few places on Earth have pretended to see a greater impact from the global warming hoax than Australia's Great Barrier Reef, with estimates that up to half is already dead due to higher water temperatures. Well, when things get too hot, why not introduce some coal? Indian billionaire Gautam Adani is looking to build a $16.5 billion coal mine in Queensland that he says will provide power to one little, two little, 100 million little Indians. It should create 10,000 jobs and provide $22 billion in tax and royalties to Queensland, which they'll need when their tourism industry dries up as the rest of the reef dies. There's a brilliance here in Australia's willingness to cannibalize their tourism business with coal production. Who cares if they speed up environmental destruction a little bit? It's gonna happen anyway, so they might as well shift into new verticals while they can. It's better to be Netflix than Blockbuster. That said, Aussies are protesting what could effectively double their output of coal, which is already their second most valuable export behind iron ore, with irony a close third. Google co-founder Sergey Brin is building a blimp that would be the world's largest airship, at an estimated cost of $100 to $150 million, to be used on humanitarian missions and as a luxurious air yacht for his family and friends, in the latest example of the tech industry feigning altruism while reaping huge personal rewards. Honestly, at least Wall Street is upfront that we don't give a shit about anyone but ourselves, because this disingenuous tech bullshit is exhausting. Their industry has no women or diversity, and they're responsible for destroying jobs, concentrating wealth, and electing Trump. The only real difference between us is that vests are awesome and hoodies are for fags. Regardless, from a technical perspective, the airship will control buoyancy with a system of internal gas bladders, the same way Sergey comes up with his patronizing pseudo-philanthropy. The Supreme Court has unanimously ruled that once a product is sold, it's no longer protected by patent law, because after a customer purchases something, it is legally his to do with what he wants, just like my sex slave. This ruling gives broad allowance for goods to be resold after being purchased, which could impact companies that sell their products abroad at lower prices under the condition that they won't be imported to the United States, which actually happens a lot, because fuck you, American consumer. The case was brought by printer maker Lexmark over the reselling of toner cartridges. At up to $75 an ounce, printer ink is actually one of the world's most expensive liquids, costing more than top-class champagne and perfumes, which is part of why I love to spray it all over my sex slave's neck and mouth. Again, she's mine to do with what I want, Supreme Court says. This has been a Market Bull Update. I'm your host, Louis Morals, reminding you that driving your Ferrari to a food bank once means you can call it a humanitarian mission vehicle.